and people create these characters, create these fictional characters, and are they pretending to be someone that they're not in order to impress other people and make money? Or are these people putting on masks, some kind of costumes? Like what? How are these people making money? What are they doing?
By all means necessary for most people. It can be from creating a completely different persona or just putting on a mask.
And you said you've never experienced that before. You've never experienced this.
Not personally.
Okay. Dark Phoenix, I've heard from, a few tweets in your TikTok area that you've actually was a bouncer or security for these nightclubs in VR.
Yeah, yeah, I was security for a couple of the nightclubs. The club culture within VR chat is just all around toxic and bad. Most of the club owners will not care about their dancers. So, like, you're having sexual harassment happening, you're having people touch the dancers, making them uncomfortable, acting belligerent, getting just all around. It is so bad. And the mental defeat that people can just feel from that is horrible. I ended up having to leave as security because I couldn't handle it anymore.
Were you getting paid to do the job, or you just did something like this on your spare time in VR?
Yes, I was getting paid. We were making, depending on the club I worked for, I won't say the name of it as I don't it's not a good club to be representing, and I feel that anybody who is in there should just leave it. But we were getting paid like $20 an hour, and these you're talking events that would last 6, 7, 8 hours on end.
Wow. So, would you guys say that the virtual reality world is this something healthy for the world? Do you guys believe that this is something that is going to really deeply impact our nation because of all these things that are happening? Do you guys think that this could be a real bad strain on people's mental health?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. Because I've thought about it many times. I've sat down and I said to myself, I would love to try the VR headset. I've witnessed Dark Phoenix playing some really cool games, scary games, and it looks a lot of fun. It looks like you will go on there, and if you know some people, you can create an avatar. They can help you make one, and you can just hang out. Like right now, we're all hanging out, just having fun, and just live in another world that we don't actually have. And I feel like sometimes we do need that different world when our actual lives are a little bit harder, I would say strange, I would say, tough. But my question to you guys
Mm.
is this. So what's your reasons to do the VR thing? Is it to just get away? Is it just to, chill out? What is it for you? What is your experience?
For me, it's more of a getaway
Get away. Okay.
because real life itself can be very harsh, and in
Gotcha.
VR you can be whatever you want.
Wow. Wow. And it's really interesting because you guys have the characters and the audience that's watching right now, they can see your characters and literally this must take some kind of amazing talent, number one, and a lot of effort. I'm pretty sure you guys really take a lot of time and effort in making your characters, number one, and you're actually able to upload them into the virtual reality world. It's amazing, and the 20th century is really going towards the future. Like now you can actually sit at home and you guys can create a school, you can create clubs, you can create whatever you want and make it come to life once you put that VR headset on. Is that what you guys can actually do?
I would say so, yes.
Wow. So it's like you create a world, and is it like money, or you guys just have to have like the stuff on your computers? Do your computers or headset have to be really strong? Like, can you give us a little bit of a specs on the headsets and stuff?
Sometimes it just depends. So like you can go on to a website called Gumroad and you can buy assets to put into the world that you make. Or like sometimes you have those worlds that are PC only. So like me, V, and Witchy, all of us play on PC VR, so our headsets are actually hooked up to our computers. So this allows us to go freely between Quest worlds and PC worlds.
Amazing. And how much do the VR headsets cost for anybody that could be on a budget, or do they have like payment plans or anything like that?
As I own an Oculus Quest 2, my headset costed me around 700 because of where I got the warranty on mine. So I have like a 3-year protection plan on my headset.
Wow. Are they easily broken if you
I
drop them?
have. Oh,
I'm sorry.
The Quest, yes, it is very easily broken. Witchy actually has a better headset than what I do, and I'm kind of jealous about that.
Okay, hold on.
you really
So
shouldn't be.
you guys are moving your hands and arms, and I'm just looking like, explain what's happening here. You guys have headsets. You guys have like some kind of body functions going on where you have to have pieces on your arms and legs. What's going on here? I'm seeing arms moving. What's happening?
You can get full body tracking. Most headsets will come with controllers, so it's how you can move your arms around. But they also have this really cool thing called full body tracking. So you can have these little trackers that you can put like on your elbows, your knees, your hips, chest, and feet. And that allows you to actually move your entire body.
And how much does that cost? All these awesome, amazing functions. How much it
Oh.
costs? How much it costs? Please.
Just for because I've actually been talking to my mom about getting it in February for me. Just for 2 base stations and like 3 trackers, I'm already looking at about $800, and that's not even for the full setup.
Wow. 8 to 900. You might as well say it's a thousand bucks. That's a couple bills right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the money section, if you wanted to get the Oculus and someone wanted to come in and they wanted to make money after they create this awesome, amazing character, and they wanted to actually make money or find clubs to, shake it or bake it, whatever you guys call it nowadays, TikTok and then, shaking it and all that kind of nonsense. What exactly do they have to do? Can they find somebody, or do they have to fill out an application to join the clubs and do their thing?
um. So basically, from the beginning, when somebody gets into VR, the
Hmm.
game itself is free.
Okay.
But to be able to move around and look around, you have to buy a headset. The
Wow.
cheapest one is the Oculus, which is about 5 to 800, depending. I have a
It's
Vive.
$400.
Yeah, 400. I have a Vive, which costs me over $1,000.
Oh my. Oof.
And
Wow. Wow.
so basically, VR can get very addicting.
So would you guys say it's like a drug sometimes? Like you just can't get off of it?
Eh, in a way, for me.
How
Kind of
many?
like the same for me. I prefer living. I would, if I could, I would just live in VR. Like, for me, this is kind of like become like my sort of my safe place. This is how I'm able to hang out with like you and V when none of us live close to each other.
Okay. And
This is also a way for a lot of people who do long relationships, long distance.
Oh, okay. Wow. So we're gonna talk about that in a minute. Before we talk about that, like how many hours you guys put in VR? Because we know about regular gaming where gamers can put in from 4 to 8 to 10 to 12 to 24 hours straight playing video games, but this is a different world. How many hours would you guys put in a day?
A typical day for me, if I'm not editing avatars or like creating my own avatars, I spend maybe 6, 7 hours a day in VR.
Okay. 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 Wow. That's a lot of hours. 6 to 7 hours a day. All right. I can't say that's healthy or it's not healthy because I'm a gamer myself and I put in countless hours doing certain things. Minecraft, Rainbow Six Siege. Shout out to all my Minecraft players out there. We do have an event coming up for that, the best pumpkin. But moving forward, I do want to ask. Well, let's jump back to that statement that was said. I think that was by V. No, that was by Witchy. That's by Witchy, right?
I
Okay.
haven't said shit.
Oh, okay. So V. No, not V. That's Witchy. Witchy said that. Am I right? Trying to get the voices. Okay. So you guys say that people have relationships in the VR chat, in the VR world. How
Yes.
does how does that work? How does it happen?
Mm, a lot of people can either be attracted to the avatar or through voices.
Hmm. Okay, so it's like hiding behind a character. So when people get into relationships inside the game, is it just VR, or do people actually ask for a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok nowadays, and actually call people or text or FaceTime? What actually takes place when this
Oh
happens?
yeah. Usually it will start in VR and then they can end up calling each other and texting.
Wow. Have you guys had a lot of people hit on you
I think
guys?
like I've had
No.
several. I've had several people, mostly because of like the avatars I'm wearing. But it's actually like really cool because like in VR, you you can't judge somebody based off of how they look. It's how they act. You get to actually know that person without knowing what they actually look like.
Okay. So, have anyone tried to do it with you guys before on the VR dating? Like, has it happened?
No.
It never happened.
No.
Not for me.
And
Like, are we talking about
yeah.
ERPing?
W-
That's
Well,
happened a couple of
Oh
times
yeah.
for me. Like that's happened. Like people have asked, they're like, "Oh, will you pay if I pay you this? Will it happen?" I'm like, "No,"
so they're offering you money now. So they're offering
because
you prostitution.
yeah, like that's a really big problem with MVR,
Wow. So,
and it doesn't even happen to just adults. It will happen to minors as well.
Oh yeah.
Like
There are
that's
a
like
lot of pedophiles.
yeah.
wow. So people tell each other their ages, their names, predators that's in VR watching and seeing who they can woo and who they can take down and get. Is that's what's happening?
Yeah, one
Yeah.
of the people that I used to follow on TikTok and Instagram because I was such a big fan of them, his name was Shadow Coon VR, and a lot of allegations had come out about him, and I was like, no, no, I don't think this is real. And then I started seeing the proof of this, and I'm like, this has gone from being in just VR to this being an actual in real life situation. because like he went from doing this in VR to actually committing these crimes outside of the game.
Wow. How do you know about that? Was that sent to you, or did he tell you he was doing that type of thing?
It was all over TikTok for the longest time from the actual victims themselves. And then there's another TikToker, his name is Verum, and he also goes in and exposes people for this.
Wow.
It's really bad.
Wow. I know that must be really hard on you guys to actually have to deal with all these things. You know, it's not safe anywhere nowadays, even in the VR chat. And you would think it is, but people hide behind masks, people hide behind outfits all the time, and we don't know who they really are. They can appear as great, nice people, and next thing we know, a week or two or a month later, they show us who they truly are. So I believe that could be the scariest
Mhm.
thing. But speaking of that, what were you guys like most memorable, like scary, terrible moment, like the worst moment you've ever had in VR?
I'm gonna let V and Witchy go first.
I'd rather not talk about this.
Okay.
Mm, I'm trying to think. I think mine would be when somebody kept following me.
Like in the world, just
They
like
would
following
follow
you.
me to different worlds.
So they
Yeah, and
they can
then
track
I
that.
got. It was like they can.
Wow. 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 Okay.
And then they would
That's
ask
that's
really creepy questions.
Are you kidding me?
One of the
What?
creepiest questions I got was if somebody could take a picture of my avatar's feet.
Okay, feet. Like this guy has a foot fetish. Feet. Take pictures of
Yeah, it
feet.
was weird.
Okay, uh, I remember. I think I was watching Dark Phoenix her stream when she was streaming VR, and I remember when she was playing this scary game. I don't know who she was playing with, but it was pretty nice to see. But I remember
Oh, I was playing with V. Me
V.
and V were playing a game called The Smile Room.
That game was really nice, but it was very scary. But I would have loved to
That
really
game
play
was
that game.
awful.
I would have loved to play it.
That game is awful. Chapter 2 is coming out soon, I do believe.
Is that money, or you guys can just play it for free because you guys have the VR already?
No, like they upload the worlds in here for free, so like every game in here is free to play.
No monthly subscription, no catch, no hidden fees, just straight up everything free.
The only
No.
the only subscription that you really have to like pay for, but like unless you know somebody who can upload avatars for you, is you have to like get this thing called VR Chat Plus, which it gives you options for more avatar slots. So like for public avatars, and that's what that's for.
Okay. All right. Interesting. That's good to know. I do plan to get a VR one day, maybe sometime next year. I'll get a VR. I did tell you, Dark Phoenix, I'll get a VR, and I would really love to actually see and document what happens and take place. And I'm going to use it for my podcast, and I will definitely use it for future YouTube videos for the Grim Reapers community to actually witness and definitely view whenever they would love to, because this is a big story here, and I feel as though there's so much more happening in the VR world that people have to see. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the downright terrible. But my another question is this: with the scene where you guys have the club and everything, before the clubs and everything opens up at certain times, because I remember we had a conversation before Dark Phoenix about the times the clubs open, the staff that has to clock in and clock out, staff that has to come in and guard the doors and everything. So this is actually a real thing when you put the headsets on and the staff they huddle up and they speak and say, "Hey, I want you on this door. I want you on that door. Make sure when the girls and guys are dancing, make sure nobody tries to slap their ass or something like that." Like this is an actual
Yeah.
club. Wow.
Yeah, this is an actual thing. So typically, most events don't start until about 10 o'clock at night. I actually went to one last night, but I wasn't working the security. But yeah, so like an hour before the event, people are already hopping on. Team meetings are happening, discussing what avatars are gonna be worn for the what avatars our dancers are gonna wear. What avatars are not going to be appropriate. We even have people who are not even allowed to enter into the clubs. Like, so you do have people who are on that block list that can't enter that like specific club for whatever reason.
Can they bypass that, or they can't come once your account is banned? That
No.
that person can't like push their way and like you guys are gonna beat them up or something. Is that what you guys have in place to beat them up?
No. So typically most of the clubs will have a thing like on their doors. Um, and you have to get the security guards have to like open that door physically for you.
Wow. So they'll know who's behind the door and then they'll open the door up and pretty much say, okay, well that person's not banned. They can come on in. Okay. So how much money
Yeah.
would a security guard make? Actual money, and how would they get paid? Like what are the payment plans and actually getting paid to do this type of thing?
So there's always a Discord server for the clubs. Like, so there's always like a Discord server, and of course you have like the different roles, kind of like how we do here in the Grim Reapers. So the different mod teams have different colors. Security, we have our own little section where we can put in either our Cash App, whatever bank we have. We will put in that information. That way, whoever owns the club can actually pay us.
Wow. And
I think on a good night working
mhm,
security, I
yeah.
made maybe close to $350 just for one night.
How many hours? And you're telling okay, so you're telling me you're in a club, you're doing security, you're putting in 8 hour shift, 5 hour shift, and you can get paid up to $300 in one night. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Yeah, and it also like depends on how popular that club is.
All right, well, hey, I'll quit my day job. I'll be security for one of those VR places that are really cool. Hey, I'm not going to work anymore. You think about it, something like that, you can make a lot of money. Number one, I know it has dark places, it has some crazy things happening there, but if you're doing security in a club and people offer you up to $300 for 8 hours, 5 hours, you tally that up within 5 days. That's a lot of money just for that week. You take 300, 600, 9, and so on and so forth. That's over $1,000 a week, and you can pocket that and use it to pay your bills and things like that. It's a lot, but I do know that hey, maybe the club isn't that consistent or whatever the case may be, so things could possibly happen. But that is something really cool to actually get into, as long as it is safe. Because if I did something like that, doing security, and my background is full of all kinds of things, law enforcement work, security work, all that stuff. If I were security there, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they would have to pay me top dollar because I'll shut it down, no. But like I said, that is an experience, that a lot of people should actually try to, you know, try or get into, but I would say it is very interesting though. But has anybody else tried to do that security thing? With you, EV? Have you guys tried to do it before?
No,
Not old
but
enough.
now it does sound interesting.
Mm, okay. No problem. Yeah, it's probably just standing like Dark Phoenix. Do you stand at doors and you just watch people dance all day?
Yeah, so that's like what you do is you're checking and making sure that the avatars are optimized. So for an optimized avatar, everything on that avatar pretty much has to be green. So it has to have like the correct amount of polygons, the correct amount of bones, physics, and all of that. And if it doesn't have that, then we can't let you into the club because it could crash our dancers.
Oh wow. It's just really mind-boggling the fact that people get up in the morning, brush their teeth, take a shower, fix their hair, make breakfast, and say, "Hey, honey, I'm going to work today. I'll pull a 8-hour shift or a 5-hour shift," and you're thinking that they would walk out the door and actually go to work, but it's like, no, I'm going to put on this headset and make this money. That has to be the most interesting, unique thing out there. And there are, a lot of things and businesses out there that will actually pay a lot of money to do certain things, especially if I've heard a lot of rumors and I've had people explore the other side of the world, if you catch my drift, when it comes down to the web. The other side. We have a dark side and a light side to everything, and we have a light side to the web and the darker side to the web. And when you pass that darker side, you actually, well, I see you have a sniper rifle there. You just shot something in the background? You just shot something? Wow.
Trying to.
Oh, you just popped up with the firearm in our podcast. Just do you see that? Just popped out of nowhere. Okay, moving forward. Hey, don't point that. You got to be careful. You can't be pointing that in. People are looking. You got to be careful. Can't be pointing at
Let's
safety.
put it
Yeah.
back.
Remember, trigger safety. You can't put that hand on that trigger guard. I saw you put your hand on there. You could have shot somebody. All right. Safety first. All right. Don't hurt nobody. All right. Don't be getting no shotgun shells or no sniper rifle bullets inside those couches. I'm pretty sure those couches were a lot of money right there. The purple couches. So you got to be careful. All right. All right.
Did we mention about the headsets that can actually kill somebody?
I'm sorry. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's a
What?
thing.
I'm
That's
sorry.
a thing. Yeah, that is a thing that somebody
That's
is
the
like
thing.
actually trying to make is like if there's a headset that somebody's actually trying to make that way like to where if you die in that video game your physical body actually dies.
No way.
It was created from a anime.
What in the world? So if you wear the headsets, you can point it and shoot somebody with it.
Yes. And
No,
like
on top of the headset, it has three silver prongs
mhm.
that are basically like bombs.
Like in a real life headset that has to have those three things, or just inside the VR.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's an
In real
actual
life.
it's an actual headset. This is an actual headset that somebody has made.
And you can actually die in the VR chat. You guys, your characters can die today.
Even if like
If
even
you
like to say we jump off from like a really tall building, all that happens is our bodies will just respawn at that spawn point.
Right, because I did see you jump off that cliff when I was looking at your stream. You and I believe that was V. You guys committed suicide multiple times. It was very excruciating to look at that. You guys, I thought you were done. I thought you were gone. You just jumped. You said, "I'm done," and you just jumped. I was scarred for life for
Suicide
that.
pact, never.
Me and V have a running joke that way if we're like ever at the edge of a world, we call it the suicide pact. That way, if one of us jumps, the other one has to follow.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I do must say
Did
myself.
you show him that one picture of us on that building ledge?
I haven't showed anybody that picture yet. There's a picture. There's a picture of me and V. We're standing at the top of like this giant billboard sign.
Hmm.
We're holding hands. We were sitting there talking to each other. We're like, if I'm dying, you're dying with me. There ain't no choice in this.
Wow. If you can show us in the text message area over there in Discord. If you can show us that, I'm pretty sure that. team in
I
Being
will
Toxic.
I definitely will have to re-find that picture. I have taken
I got this.
so
I got this. I got this. I got this.
he's
You
gonna show
sure?
it. I've taken so many pictures. And one of the harder things with MVR chat that I've noticed, and I never say this enough, but I really am so grateful for both V and Witchy. Like they've both been like true friends. Even well before I started editing avatars, they were there. One of the big things that I've noticed is people will only befriend you if they know they can get an avatar or an avatar edit out of it, or if you're also a content creator like on TikTok or Instagram. They just want to be your friend so they can collab with you and get more followers for them.
Wow.
And then once they have what they want, it's like, okay, bye. I don't need you anymore.
So they're just using people nowadays. Actually, they get the one. They use you for a game, basically. Wow. And of course,
Yeah.
More
that's
so
not right.
cloud, but
Oh, clout.
Yeah, more so for clout. Um, so
it's
grateful
not
for
just using them
Witchy.
on the game. Sorry, y'all are just like
Oh.
my
Brain went
tism can't
burr.
handle the amount of noise that's going on right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna just leave the podcast room because this is like echoing and I can't focus.
Oh, it's
Yeah, you
echoing.
can drop back down. You can drop back down
No,
to the
it's not.
the audience if you need to, or if you have to leave the call, you can.
It's you. The fact that you're unmuted on their boat and on here.
Oh shit.
I already left, man.
I muted her in game.
Yeah, that way it won't be no.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, is that better?
Sorry, Rissa. I promise I still love you.
I still love you too. But yeah, like I'm so grateful for both V and Witchy. Me and V have been friends for half a year now. For almost like a year and a half.
Um,
Okay,
yeah,
look.
2 months.
A year and 2 months.
Okay, a year and 2 months.
You tried
Uh,
to say half a year. I can't
Half a
believe this
year.
okay, I was trying to say a year and a half. V was actually one of the very, very first people I ever met inside of the metaverse.
So how did it happen? You just woke up once you made your avatar and started to explore, and you met.
Um,
You know, how did it happen?
it all it kind of started like I was introduced to V through an old mutual friend that me and V no longer associate with. Because she was, in the famous words of Boss, very, very toxic. She used people to get for her own personal
Not just
gain.
toxic. She was so manipulative.
Yeah, she would manipulate you. She had me believing for the longest.
Because I was the youngest one in the group.
Yeah, V was the minor of the group. Still is, at least until December.
I'm still the baby.
Just until December, honey. But yeah, this girl would
a big old smooch.
but yeah, this girl would manipulate V, try to make it to where me and V hated each other. Convinced the entire friend group that I was manipulative. I used people. Yeah, she just did a lot. And then when I ended up leaving, V had stuck around for a bit, and then V ended up leaving.
Wow. And you guys just stuck with each other ever since. Okay.
Oh yeah. Not to say that, we
Through the drama.
not to say that like we haven't had our fair share of fights, because we have. I've even had a couple of fights with Witchy over the dumbest things. But even then we all still, I still remained very close friends with them.
Okay. That's That's really nice. You know, you three are able to keep such a really tight, close bond. I know it's a lot of stuff that happens out there in the world of VR, definitely. So, my last question before we wrap things up for the podcast is what actually is the outcome goal for you three for the VR world? What do you want to see for the future of this? Because you guys invest in a lot of time, a lot of effort in your avatars and creating things for people and just having some fun. So, what do you three actually want to see in the future for VR?
I just want to see the community grow and actually get better because right now there is so much toxicity and negativity within this game. Even with the sexual harassment, I would love to just see, the game developers just make it a little bit safer, maybe eliminate, a lot of the kids. Like I do believe that the game should at least be 16 and up. That's just how I feel just because of the stuff that
I
happens.
completely agree. The kids are the most toxic ones on here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll have kids run up to you and they'll just say like so many racial slurs at you and you're
Wow.
just sitting there like what the hell is this?
Wow, that's
I was
intense.
in a public lobby yesterday actually and had some kid come up and sexually harass me.
Oh my goodness. What did he say?
He didn't do any. He didn't say nothing. They did shit. Mommy decided to get him full body, and he tried to ERP with me in a public lobby.
Wow.
I really wish you would have told me this sooner so I could have broken that kid's kneecaps.
I was with somebody you didn't like.
No, of course you were.
I'm sorry. I have friends that you don't like.
It's fine because I also have friends that, you don't like. And we
Oh,
do really
I'm trying
good.
to speak at one in your chat, and he's not answering me.
what about you?
And
What do
like
you
I
want to
think
say?
that's
Just want to make sure we get everybody. Did you say you're
I agree.
you agree? Okay. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. So, real quickly right now for anybody that has questions for them, you guys can ask at this time if you guys have any questions, push the little hand at the top right corner of your cell phones or devices. You can raise your hands and I'll call you up if you guys have any questions for them. Feel free at this time. If you guys have any questions about their experiences. Going
come
once.
on, don't be shy. You can feel free to ask us anything.
I believe this is a lot of people's first time in this too. I'm not sure if they know how to use it. Hmm. Going twice? All right. So, we will be wrapping this first podcast slash interview up at this time. So, I just want to say thank you to you three for the time that you have given me and Dark Phoenix for our podcast for tonight. V and Witchy, thank you too so much for being our special guest for tonight for a walk with us in the darkness. And we would love to have you guys back on our podcast show. It has been a delight and a pleasure to have you two here. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Akira. That is Dark Phoenix. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. I'll see you all later. Have a good night. And may we all meet again, guys. Thank you for coming. You know, I